Namaste, and welcome to Transcend, your daily source of inspiration and spiritual wisdom. Namaste, welcome to Transcend. Thank you for joining us to hear these topics of spirituality and yoga and meditation. If you like this video, please subscribe and share with your friends and leave a comment below and let me hear your reflections. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the things that I'm speaking also. So in this video we're going to talk about the reality of this world and of this, more specifically, this entire material domain, this whole material universe, basically everything that is temporary, which is different from the untemporary, the eternal realm, known as Vaikunta or Paravyoma. So the material world is called Devi Dham, the place of Durga, the place of temporary death, pain, birth, happiness, dualities, the place of existence without perfect divine love and perfect harmony and perfect knowledge. Everything is imperfect here due to its temporary nature. So we hear some things commonly about, some of you may be familiar with the word Leela. It means divine play. And sometimes we hear this word, I've heard the phrase many times, and the phrase goes, every one of us and everything is just God playing itself out. It's just a different part of God's Leela. This is the universe expressing itself in different ways. My computer almost just fell down. So, this is God's expression in unlimited varieties, and the universe expressing itself in many ways. So we hear things like this, and it's not really the most accurate and really the most thought out thing to say, really. And why not? Because, okay, so first of all, Leela is divine play. It's not a temporary play. It's a eternal play. And there's two words specifically in reference to Leela. And one of them is Prakrit Leela, which means the Leela that God manifests within this world, the incarnations of God, such as Krishna, Lord Rama, Buddha, and others also. So these are the Prakrit Leelas, the Leelas that are played out in this world, in this universe, anywhere within the temporary domain. And then there's the eternal Leela called Aprakrit Leela, which means unmanifest Leela. Unmanifest means not manifest to the ordinary mortal's eyes. When Krishna was here, ordinary mortals could see him. They all perceived him a little differently, according to their understanding and according to their qualification of heart, but nonetheless they all saw him. Right now we can't see Krishna because we're conditioned, so we're in that state of illusion. And Krishna's eternal pastimes, Leelas, are going on eternally in Vaikunta, which means the realm beyond the temporary realm, the eternal realm, where no temporary dualities exist. And so to say things that everything is God's Leela, okay, let's break that down a little bit. Okay, so I'm in the material world. I have to experience pain. I have to experience death, suffering, losing people that I love. I have to experience anger and all these things that are very negative. And even others, they take it to a whole nother level. For instance, it's very sad and very unpleasant, but for instance, in Africa, there's many babies that are suffering with lack of food and lack of hygiene. There's there's other people that are very violent and they kill people and they do very abominable things to other people. So if we say something, everything is God's Leela, we have to apply it to every single circumstance. We can't just apply it to circumstances that we feel we want to. Knowledge is pervasive. It's all pervasive. And so a philosophical principle has to be applied to everything in all its aspects. And if it isn't true, we can usually understand what is true and what is not true by doing that. So for instance, in this circumstance, so are we to understand that it's God's Leela, His divine play, for babies to suffer and to die when they're infants and to be in so much pain and disease and poverty? Is that God's Leela? Is it God's Leela to murder other people, to rape other people, and to do so many disgusting things? Is that also God's Leela? I don't think so. And even in ordinary life that isn't so much on the one side of the polarity, even that's not God's Leela. Is God's Leela to go play video games? To go play, to sit around and drink Coca-Cola and eat French fries and cheeseburgers and play video games? Is that God's expression? Is that God's Leela? No, it's not. And so God, the whole point of godliness, it means purity. It means divine. Divine means pure. It means full of ecstasy, full of knowledge, bliss, and love. Eternally. It's not a temporary thing. Eternal. And so that is what characterizes God. Godliness, pure spiritual existence. And if we understand properly, we can see that this world isn't really about that. It's not really about... See, okay, we can say, oh, it's just in your perception, divine love and union with everything. It's just in your perception. We can say things like that, and you can become very advanced in spiritual life, and you can feel a type of yoga, a union with all living entities. Of course, that's what yoga is. But at the same time, to just speak these things like, this world, everything is an expression of God's Leela, it doesn't even make sense. It's just a nice phrase that people, they parrot when they see it on the internet or see it in some book. It doesn't actually make sense. And God's Leela is full of sweetness. This world is not full of sweetness. I will tell you that very plainly. If you haven't realized that, I'm very sorry to say, but you have to open your eyes a little bit more. Because this world is full of pain, and it's full of suffering. And yes, there is happiness. But happiness will always come to an end in this world unless we take on the spiritual path, of course. Because why is it temporary? Because everything everything in this world will be devastated eventually. So everything that we're attached to in this world will lead to a degree of suffering in our own consciousness. But we can have divine attachment also, and that is a whole nother topic. But I'm just trying to explain why temporary reality leads to suffering. And so God doesn't want suffering. God doesn't want suffering. He doesn't want pain. God is love. He is bliss. He is knowledge, eternity, and union. He doesn't want any of these other things. These things are only in the material world, the temporary world, where his particle extensions, known as jiva, soul, like us, we come to this world and we try to imitate the position of being in the center. And try to imitate the position of being the enjoyer. And that is called the ego. And that's a whole nother topic, so we won't get into that. It's beyond the scope of this video. But the point is that the jiva, the soul, is a whole nother energy of God. It's called the marginal energy because it has the potential to awaken and to come to be in full realization of God, to realize God, to see God face to face. And there's multiple types of liberation, the highest being realization of one's eternal identity in connection with the divine person of God. One of the divine persons who God has many extensions of. But so I think, so the point is that the jiva also has the potential to become completely illusioned, be completely submerged in illusion, and that's what this world is. All the living entities, they come here and they're in complete illusion, and we gradually make our way out of it. Could take billions of lifetimes, hopefully not, but usually does. So the human birth is especially meant for ecstatic realization of God. So the thing is about the universe expressing itself in different ways. Well, of course, this material world, there's so many varieties of things going on, and it's not very happy, honestly. We don't want suffering and pain to come to anyone. We don't want it to come to ourselves. We don't want it to come to anyone else. But it will come, and it will exist in this world. And God actually has nothing to do with that. This is a world for us, for the living entities who try to live without God's purity. That's us. And so it takes spiritual life and progress and meditation and yogic practice to go beyond that and to get into the realm of divine life. And so God's extended feature known as Paramatma, the Oversoul, is actually within this world, and that's what keeps this world going. That's what keeps this world connected. It's called Paramatma, Oversoul. It's within every atom of the whole material existence. It's when it weaves like threads through a cloth, keeps everything afloat. So, and the souls, the jiva, the individual soul, they are the ones that propel the karmic energy of this world. And they are the ones that make this world have a purpose. Because of their independent karmic journeys, they keep this world going. And It's their desire. They don't keep it going per se, but the Paramatma does. But the soul, the Atma, the desire to keep it going. That's what, otherwise, I mean, Paramatma is just an extended energy of God to do this, this thing of making this world maintained and created and dissolved. So in the spiritual world, there's something very different going on. God in his different forms interacts with the living entities, and that is where real Leela is happening. That is where real, true, sweet Leelas are going on eternally, ever fresh, ever ecstatic, ever dynamic, ever new. That's where real Leela is happening, not in this world. Leelas happen here sometimes, as I mentioned, Prakrit Leela. That happens sometimes, and that's on schedule actually, it's not random. In the Vedas, it describes the schedules of the different avatars of God. So there's no confusion. It's pretty cool actually, there's no need for speculation. Many people claim to be God, they claim to be avatars of Krishna, they claim to be an incarnation of God, Shiva. Is it true? Probably not. Why? Because it should be known within the Vedas. The Vedas are the ultimate source of this type of knowledge. If we want to talk about being an avatar of Krishna or Shiva, show it to me in the Vedas. Because all the other avatars, they are detailed in the Vedas. So the reason for this is because the material world isn't some mysterious thing. It's a very confined, predictable place. It's not a mysterious, ever unfolding thing. It's like a box. It's like a confined box within this whole existence of spiritual and material. This place is it's just like a bubble, you know? There's no secrets, there's no mysteries. God comes on schedule to do different things. In the ages, they progress in different ways. It's all on schedule. We're in Kali Yuga right now, and after about 400,000 years, we're going to be in Satya Yuga. Hopefully we get out of this world before then, but Satya Yuga is better than Kali Yuga, so at least that's good. But there will be lots of suffering coming in Kali Yuga, and all these predictions are within the Vedas. You can see how the age of Kali, we're at the beginning now, you can see how the age will progress into a very bad and degraded place. And so we don't want to be around for that, trust me. It's very bad. Now, you can read about it if you want to. So I was just saying about that because, everything is on schedule, it's predicted. The whole material world is like a big mechanism, really. It's a mechanical thing. You die, you're born, you age, you disease. It's all mechanics. There's nothing that we can't see that's going to happen. We can't really see the future, but we can understand what's going to happen, at least in so many ways. We're going to, like I just said, get born and die again. That's the essence of this material world. And so we should understand to look at everything with a grain of salt. Don't just believe things. Don't just blindly follow things that people say. Nice. Oh, that sounds nice to my mind, to my ego. Therefore, I'm going to accept it as spiritual truth. No. Not a good proposal. Not a good proposal at all. Everything should be based on the Vedas. That's it. The Vedas, they have the most detailed, most complex, most scientific process of spiritual life. So why not accept the knowledge, We also don't have to blindly accept that. But we can see, has it come true? Is the stuff true that's in it? Yeah, it is. We can look at that in a very objective way. So we should just be objective. That's all we have to do in spiritual life. Be objective Accept what's favorable and reject what's unfavorable. Those are some of the primary things of spiritual life, and everyone can advance very quickly by doing. No need for speculation, no need for mysteries. Just follow the process that's been delineated by so many people who have attained perfection. No need to make something up or invent a new path. Just be humble and do what is proven to work. The proven yogic path of love. Just follow that. It's so easy. So thanks for watching, guys. And I hope my message, of understanding just kind of sentimental statements over true, authentic knowledge. I hope I made myself clear about that whole idea. I hope it benefited some people. I see it commonly. That's why I made this video, because it's just kind of like people believe it, but it's just because they don't have more exposure to authentic teachings. So thank you for joining me, and let me know what you think below. Namaste. Hare Krishna.